Rwanda did not receive any funding to sign new asylum treaties, says James cleverly. We're going to read into this more from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from Sky News with the headline that Rwanda did not receive any funding to sign new asylum treaty, says James cleverly. The Home Secretary said he felt very strongly that the new deal would address the concerns of the Supreme Court, which ruled the initial policy was unlawful. How many of you genuinely believe this headline? Given the current Conservative government's history, they have been known to lie and mislead the public on too many occasions now. And I looked at this headline and I thought, you cannot be serious. There is absolutely no way, surely, that we are not giving them more money under the table. Surely that's happening, right? I mean, we are wasting so much money as it is. I mean, we're giving so much money to Rwanda, and it's not really doing anything. It's our taxpayer money that's being wasted here. We're throwing our taxpayer money on hotels and barges to keep asylum seekers in, rather than allowing them to be able to work and contribute to the British economy. We'd rather just pay it out of our own pocket. Yeah, you, the British public, you're going to be paying out of your own pocket, when instead we could have had those asylum seekers that are in the UK right now and up in hotels and barges. We could actually, put them to work, contribute to the economy, contribute to society. But the Conservative government doesn't want that. They don't want them to do that. They changed the laws so that they can't contribute to society. They're not allowed to work. So they obviously want you to blame all their issues with immigrants. This policy, this whole Rwandan policy, it is never going to go. It's not going to take off. It's not going to take off, guys. It really isn't. This is not going to be the be all and end all, and it's not going to save. It's not going to save. Stop immigrants. It's not going to stop people crossing the channel. And there are international laws that we have to abide by as well. Something called the European Courts of Human Rights as well. These people have human rights, and the thing is what the initial plan was, obviously, to ship them to Rwanda. There was no intention of them coming back. And whatever this new treaty is that we're going to read into, it's not going to change. It's not going to change anything when it comes to immigrants coming to this country. It's nothing but hogwash. And if you're stupid enough to believe it, you're stupid enough to believe anything that the Conservatives are telling you. 13 years of austerity, the absolute pathetic Brexit deal that they delivered to the British public, as if leaving the European Union was bad enough as it is. Their handling of the coronavirus pandemic with the COVID inquiry exposing how utterly shambolic a day was. Lying in the 2014 Scottish referendum to the Scottish people that there would not be a vote on leaving the EU and that we would not be leaving the EU. The Scottish people were lied to then. Lied to in the run-up to the 2016 Brexit referendum. What lie am I referring to? The Leave campaign made it abundantly clear that we would not be leaving the EU single market. And now we find ourselves outside of the EU single market. It's almost as if, guys, that we were lied to. And even, here's another lie for you. The current Foreign Secretary, one that we have not elected and didn't vote for, in Lord David Cameron, he turned his tail and ran like a chicken when he explicitly said before that vote, just to remind you, a little caveat here, guys, he said that he would not step down as Prime Minister if they were to lose the vote. When the vote came in and somehow we lost and Leave won, guess what he did? He resigned and ran away like a chicken when he said he wasn't. Blatant liar there. The current government that we have, the current Prime Minister and this cabinet, we did not vote for any of this. You did not vote for the current Prime Minister. You have not voted for the policies that they are implementing either. There was nothing on the 2019 manifesto commitment saying about this either. You know, they talked about reducing immigration, and it's gone up. And bearing in mind, and this is another caveat, we have one of the lowest immigration intakes in the whole of Europe. One of the lowest. This is not the be-all and end-all to the story. This whole thing about immigration, guys, will not fix what's going on in the country. If you think it is, you are deluded. You really are deluded. It will not fix what's going on in this country, guys. Yeah? We need workers. We need to get you want to get the economy going, we need to improve our trade deals with our partners on a wide range of things. All the government has been doing, all this Conservative Party is doing is nothing but talk, 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 and little to no action. And this is nothing more than talk, talk, talk to make it look like, they're going to be dealing with the problem. They keep saying they're going to deal with the problem, and they don't deal with the problem. Hogwash is all this is, guys. So Rwanda has not received any additional funding for the new treaty it has signed to revive the UK government's asylum plan, the Home Secretary has said. Again, I really have a very hard time believing that. I would not be surprised, to say the least, that if they get booted at the next general election, we find out that we need to pay Rwanda a certain amount of money from this original deal. He has lied before, and he will lie again, the Home Secretary. James Cleverly told a press conference at the Rwandan capital of Kigali, "Let me make it clear, the Rwandan government has not asked for, and we have not provided any funding linked to the signing of this treaty." Again, just don't believe him. However, Mr. Cleverly added that while Rwanda did not ask for money specifically for the treaty, dealing with migration was not a cost-free option. Well, they're not going to deal with it for us. The financial agreement, which inevitably comes as part of an international agreement, reflects on the costs that may be imposed on Rwanda through its changes that this partnership has created in their legal system and their institutions. No money was asked for by the Rwandans for this treaty. No money was provided to the Rwandans for this treaty. Right, sure. Sure, James, not so cleverly. Dealing with migration is important, and it's not a cost-free option, but we regret it, as it's the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do. It's a stupid policy. It's an unworkable policy, and I'm glad Labour have no intention of fulfilling this policy if they come into power. Mr. Cleverly was responding to questions about reports Rwanda was in line for an additional 15 million to secure the treaty, on top of the 140 million that has already been committed to the scheme by the UK government. What a waste of taxpayer money. Complete waste of taxpayer money. Under the Rwanda plan, people who arrive in the UK by unauthorised means would be sent to the African country while their asylum claim is processed. No, that's not what's going to happen. You get sent to the country, you will not come back to the UK. Very important distinction there. If you want an expert on this, check out Zoe Gardner and her YouTube channel. Listen to an expert from her perspective, and she will put. We were myself, her, and Alex from Political X. We had a much needed discussion about Rwanda and about immigration. If you guys want to know a bit more from an expert opinion, definitely check out Zoe Gardner. And check out that conversation we had on the Sunday roast, because it was really, really informative. So if you want to know the real scoops, she knows her stuff for sure, guys. Under the Rwanda plan, people who arrive to the UK by unauthorised means will be sent to the African country while their asylum claims is processed. On arrival, people will be granted refugee status and allowed to stay or apply for sanctions in another safe third country. See, they're not giving people an option to go back to the UK. Policy has formed a core part of the government's strategy to tackle small boat crossings in the channel in the hopes they will act as a deterrent. Hope. Not actually deal with it, but just hope. However, it's been forced to sign a new treaty today after the Supreme Court ruling that the policy was unlawful because there was a change that people said they could be returned to another country where they are at risk of persecution under a process known as pre-formant, and that would be a breach of international law. So essentially what the courts are saying is the courts are not saying that they can't send them to Rwanda. The problem is that they need assurances that if we send people there, that they will not be sent back originally to the country where they came from. But the problem is that you cannot trust the Rwandan government to do that because they have a very poor human rights record as it is. And that's the big caveat here. So whatever it is in this deal, I imagine it's got to be, they need an ironclad guarantee that any people that they send to Rwanda must not be sent back to their home country, basically. But I still think somehow this treaty could potentially get broken or bent in some ways. Rwanda is very much committed to the deal. After signing a new treaty today, Mr. Cleverly told the press conference he felt very strongly that the deal addresses all the issues raised by the Supreme Court. We've addressed the issues that were raised by their lordships in this treaty, and that will be reflected in domestic legislation soon, because we are absolutely committed to breaking the business model of these people smuggling gangs to create a safe and welcoming environment with our friends and partners here in Rwanda, but also making sure that the mass migration is well managed into the future, he said. Rwanda's Foreign Affairs Minister Vincent Broca, sitting alongside Mr. Cleverly, said he believed his country had been unfairly treated by the courts, international organisations and the media. But he said that his country is very much committed to the asylum deal and will remain on board with it even in the event of further setback and delays. This is the reason why we worked out with our colleagues from the UK to address the concerns of the UK Supreme Court, Mr. Bugata said. He added that while some elements could still be adjusted, we are committed to the partnership and we don't have a plan to withdraw from this cooperation. Number 10 moves to clarify fears over family visa salary cap. Mr. Cleverly's visit to Rwanda came just a day after the government launched separate measures to cut legal migration in the UK, after recent statistics show net migration is already at a record high of 745,000 in 2022. In a 5-point plan outlined by the Commons yesterday, Mr. Cleverly said the government would introduce a ban on care workers bringing their families over to the UK and raising the minimum salary required for a skilled work visa to 38,700 from next spring. Minimum threshold for a family visa will also be raised to 38,700 to ensure people only bring dependents of those who could financially support. Currently it stands at the 2012 rate of 18,600. The increase in the salary threshold has sparked concerns that the British citizens who are poorly will no longer be able to live with their foreign partners in the UK. Downing Street has sought to assure the concerns by saying that the minimum income of 38,700 was for a household as a whole. But number 10 spokesperson said that Britons earning less than 38,700 could still live with their foreign spouse in the UK in exceptional circumstances. That is just one way that people can demonstrate their ability to support a dependent. Prime Minister's official spokesperson explained they can also demonstrate this through levels of savings. If you don't meet the minimum income requirements, you may also be able to bring a dependent to the UK if you can get certain benefits. For example, disability living allowance, the spokesman added. So obviously the main thing obviously I want to focus on is just the Rwandan deal here, and the claim that I have covered most of that bits at the bottom we just discussed there on the live stream on Monday on the Snowflakes Viewpoint. So if you want like a bit more thoughts on that, you can check that out. Guys. I just don't trust the Home Secretary. I just don't take his word for it. This is a man who also, said some distasteful things, shall we say, in the Commons about a certain Labour MP and his constituency, which I don't need to remind you guys of that. If you want to find that out, just Google James Cleverly calling constituencies a shithole. So you can look that up yourself if you don't know about that story. This is a man he's a liar. He's a proven liar, just like the rest of them. The vast majority, I'll say, not the rest of them, say the vast majority of the Conservative Party. There's no way that there hasn't been funding or money slipped under the table here. There's no way. They will want to make sure they keep this out of the eye of the public. They will want to do that. They will not want us to see what's actually going on. What the key details is what they want to keep out of our eyes, guys. So what do you guys make of it? Do you believe the Home Secretary? Do you trust his word? Do you think there's more to this than meets the eye? What do you guys honestly think about him? And do we actually think there's going to be a plane taking off sending people to Rwanda? Do you actually think it could potentially happen before the next general election? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by buying me a coffee or joining me on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.